No matter who someone is, whether he is good or bad, whether love him or not, whether he is known for good things or for bad things, in the school of life, we believe that there is no one you cannot learn something from. No matter how a person is, you can always learn something from them. There is no person who is completely bad, 100%, without even one good quality you can take from them. And there is no person who is completely good, 100%, without at least one weakness or fault you might notice. Today, in the school of life, we are going to look together at a great man, an extraordinary man whom the whole world hears about and pays attention to, Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. Today, we are not going to go deep into his history or everything he has done. Instead, we want to reflect on some of the powerful words he has spoken, especially since he is known as a strong leader, a man with a firm heart, and someone who is not afraid. Because of that, he has spoken strong words that can possibly change your life. The reason we need to hear life-changing words every day is that each day we face many challenges, many things that discourage us and hurt us. That is why we need to hear encouraging words daily, words that can strengthen us and give us new energy to keep going. This man said this: "Weakness is dangerous. Life is competitive, not always aggressive, but competitive. Opportunities are limited, time is limited, energy is limited, and if you neglect your growth, life will expose that weakness sooner or later. Weakness becomes dangerous when you ignore it. If you don't build skills, you become replaceable. If you don't control your emotions, you become predictable. If you avoid responsibility, you become unreliable. If you don't set boundaries, people may take advantage of you. I'm not telling you to be harsh. I'm not telling you to be aggressive. I'm telling you to be capable. Strength means preparation. Strength means learning constantly, so you're not left behind. Strength means taking care of your health so pressure doesn't break you. Strength means thinking before reacting. Strength means being disciplined even when no one is watching. Do not confuse kindness with weakness. You can be respectful and still firm. You can be calm and still powerful. In fact, the strongest people are usually the most controlled. But here is the key. Identify where you are weak and work on it. Don't deny it. Don't hide from it. Improve it. If you struggle with communication, practice it. If you lack confidence, build competence. If you're financially unstable, learn financial discipline. If you're easily distracted, train your focus. Because the areas you avoid improving today can become the problems that hurt you tomorrow. Strength is not about dominating others. It's about not being easily shaken by circumstances. So don't live carelessly. Don't stay comfortable in your weak spots. Build yourself quietly. Improve daily. Prepare consistently. That way, life doesn't catch you unprepared. And when challenges come, you won't break. Vladimir Putin also said, "Everyone must always comply with the law even when no one is watching." Rules exist for a reason. Laws are not just restrictions, they are boundaries that keep order. When people ignore them, chaos grows. And chaos rarely benefits anyone in the long run. If you choose to ignore the law because it feels inconvenient, you may gain something small in the short term, but you risk something much bigger later: your reputation, your freedom, your stability. Compliance is not weakness. It is discipline. It shows that you understand consequences. It shows that you respect structure. It shows that you think long-term, not just about immediate gain. But let's go deeper. Following the law is also about protecting yourself. When you build your life, your career, your business, your goals, on a legal and ethical foundation, you sleep peacefully. You don't live in fear of exposure. You don't constantly look over your shoulder. Shortcuts can be tempting. Breaking rules can seem faster, but instability grows from unstable foundations. And know the rules that apply to your field. Respect them, even when no one is watching. Build success in a way that you can defend openly. Think about long-term consequences, not short-term advantage. That doesn't mean laws are perfect. Systems can have flaws. But mature strength is knowing how to work within the framework while pushing for change in the right way, not through reckless behavior. Living responsibly protects your future. Integrity protects your name. And when your name is clean, your progress is secure. So don't see compliance as limitation. See it as structure. Structure creates stability, and stability allows you to build something that lasts. This man another day, he said, if a fight is inevitable, you have to strike first. First, don't take this as a call to aggression. This is not about looking for conflict. It's about preparation and positioning when conflict truly cannot be avoided. In life, most fights are avoidable. Arguments, ego clashes, misunderstandings. Many of them can be solved with patience, communication, or walking away. And that should always be your first choice. But sometimes, challenges are unavoidable. In business, someone may try to undercut you. In your career, someone may try to discredit you. In life, circumstances may force you into difficult decisions. When a confrontation is truly inevitable, meaning you've tried to prevent it, you've assessed it clearly, and it cannot be escaped, then hesitation can cost you. Striking first doesn't necessarily mean physical action. It means being proactive. It means preparing before others expect you to, acting before the problem grows bigger, addressing threats early instead of waiting for damage, taking initiative instead of reacting too late. In real life, delay can weaken your position. If you see a problem forming and ignore it, it grows. If you know competition is coming and you don't improve, you fall behind. But here's the important balance. Never create fights unnecessarily. Never act out of ego. Never confuse impatience with strength. The strongest move is prevention. The second strongest move is preparation. Action comes only when truly necessary. So my advice to you is this. Avoid conflict when you can. Prepare for it when you must. And if a challenge truly cannot be avoided, don't enter it unprepared or passive. Take initiative. Control the timing. Control your response. Because in life, being proactive is often safer than being reactive. Strength is not about attacking. It's about not being caught unready when the moment demands action. We must rely on our own strength. Said also by President Vladimir Putin. Listen carefully. Depending completely on others is risky. People can change. Situations can change. Support can disappear. If your stability depends entirely on someone else's decisions, you are always vulnerable. That's why relying on your own strength matters. This doesn't mean you reject help. It doesn't mean you isolate yourself. It means you build yourself in a way that you are not helpless without others. You should aim to be skilled enough to create opportunities, financially disciplined enough to survive uncertainty, emotionally strong enough to handle pressure, mentally sharp enough to think independently. If you rely only on external validation, you collapse when criticism comes. If you rely only on external support, you struggle when it's gone. If you rely only on luck, you panic when it changes. But when you build inner strength, competence, resilience, discipline, you carry your stability with you. So Putin says, learn continuously so you are valuable anywhere. Develop habits that make you self-sufficient. Strengthen your body and your mind. Make decisions based on principle, not pressure. The world respects those who can stand on their own feet. At the same time, understand this balance. Self-reliance does not mean arrogance. It does not mean refusing cooperation. It means you contribute from a position of strength, not dependence. When you rely on your own strength, partnerships become choices, not necessities. Support becomes a bonus, not a lifeline. Build yourself so that even if everything around you shifts, you remain steady. Because the strongest foundation you will ever have is the one you build within yourself. Vladimir Putin said this quote showing and expressing how brave he is. Says, "A bear will not ask anyone for permission. A bear, in the wild, survives on its own strength. It does not wait for approval. It does not ask for validation. It acts according to its nature, its needs, and its territory." In life, there is a lesson in that, but it must be understood wisely. Too many people wait for permission to grow, permission to start, permission to speak, permission to lead, permission to improve their lives. If you always wait for others to approve your ambition, you may never move. Sometimes, you have to decide for yourself. If you want to build a business, start learning. If you want to change careers, prepare and move. If you want to improve your life, take action. You do not need universal approval to pursue your goals. But here is the balance you must understand. Independence is not recklessness. Strength is not disrespect. Not asking for permission does not mean ignoring laws, ethics, or consequences. It means not shrinking yourself because of fear of criticism. There is a difference between acting confidently and acting carelessly. Be firm in your direction. Be clear in your purpose, but also be responsible. Don't let fear of judgment paralyze you. Don't wait for everyone to agree before you move forward. Don't dilute your ambition to make others comfortable. At the same time, stay disciplined. Stay lawful. Stay thoughtful. The bear survives because it is strong, aware, and self-reliant, not because it is reckless. Build that kind of strength. Move when you are ready. Decide with confidence. Act with responsibility. And don't live your life waiting for permission to become who you're capable of becoming. This man said, "I have a private life in which I do not permit interference." Not everything in your life needs to be public. In today's world, people share everything: their plans, their relationships, their struggles, their victories. And sometimes, the more you expose, the more opinions you invite. The more opinions you invite, the more pressure you carry. Privacy is protection. You are allowed to keep parts of your life sacred. You are allowed to draw a line and say, "This is not for public discussion." That is not secrecy, that is boundaries. If you don't set boundaries, people will cross them. Interference often comes disguised as curiosity, advice, or even concern. But too much outside noise can confuse your direction. It can weaken your confidence. It can influence decisions that should be personal. Vladimir Putin says, "Share your goals carefully. Protect your relationships from unnecessary exposure. Don't seek validation for every decision. Keep some victories quiet." The less people know about your next move, the less they can disturb it. At the same time, understand this balance. Privacy is not isolation. Boundaries are not hostility. You can be respectful and still firm. You can be open and still guarded where it matters. The strongest people know what to reveal and what to protect. When you control access to your personal life, you control your peace. And peace is power. So build your life. Grow quietly. Protect what matters. Not everything needs an audience. Some things grow better in privacy. Respecting everyone is his principle. He said, "We respect all countries and peoples." Respect is strength. When you respect others, whether individuals, cultures, or nations, you show confidence in yourself. Insecurity looks down on others. Strength does not need to. In your own life, this principle matters more than you think. You will meet people with different beliefs, backgrounds, lifestyles, and opinions. You won't always agree with them. That's normal. But disagreement does not require disrespect. When you show respect, you keep doors open instead of burning bridges. You create space for dialogue instead of conflict. You build influence instead of resistance. Respect does not mean surrendering your values. It does not mean approving everything. It means acknowledging the dignity of others. In business, respect builds partnerships. In leadership, respect builds loyalty. In personal relationships, respect builds trust. If you move through life treating others with dignity, you gain credibility. People are more willing to listen to you when they feel heard by you. Vladimir Putin says, "Be firm in your principles, but calm in your tone. Defend your position, but avoid humiliation. Stand strong, but stay respectful." True power is not loud. It does not insult. It does not belittle. It carries itself with composure. When you respect others, you elevate yourself. Because respect is not weakness. It is maturity under control. As we are about to get to the end of our journey for today, let us look at this powerful quote he says, "Stability is the key to development." Growth does not happen in chaos. If your life is constantly unstable, emotionally, financially, mentally, it becomes very difficult to build anything lasting. You may have ambition, you may have talent, but without stability, progress keeps collapsing. Stability is a foundation. Think about it like building a house. You don't start with the roof. You don't start with decoration. You start with a solid base. Without that base, everything else cracks. In your personal life, stability looks like consistent habits, financial discipline, emotional control, reliable routines, clear long-term direction. If your income is unstable because you spend carelessly, stress grows. If your emotions are unstable because you react impulsively, relationships suffer. If your schedule is chaotic, productivity drops. Development requires calm structure. That doesn't mean life will always be smooth. Challenges will come. But stability means you are steady even when circumstances shake. Before chasing big success, build stability. Before expanding, organize. Before taking major risks, strengthen your base. Small, consistent discipline creates long-term security. And once you are stable, growth becomes easier. You can take smarter risks. You can think clearly. You can focus on progress instead of survival. Understand this balance. Stability is not stagnation. It's not about staying comfortable forever. It's about creating a strong platform from which you can grow safely and sustainably. Build your routines. Protect your peace. Manage your resources wisely. Because when your foundation is strong, development is not just possible, it becomes sustainable. Thank you for being with us in this journey. I don't doubt that this really helped you. Subscribe, like, share this video, and leave your comment for how you know this extraordinary man. See you later.